What's up YouTube? My name is John Jags, and today we are talking about 3D in After Effects. Now, I don't want to, but I have to be the bearer of bad news. After Effects is not a true 3D program like Cinema 4D, Houdini, Blender, etc. So you do have some limitations, but there is a cool technique that you can use in After Effects to create some 3D text or 3D graphics with vector files and shape layers. So I want to show you how to do that. I made this guy last night for my friend's graphic design agency sort of thing, just playing around. I don't know what this is. His company is called Dino Creative, and this is that. And I used this same technique. No plugins, it's free. That's the big part. No money. That's except for the computer and I guess the time that you're spending. And all right, let's go into After Effects and figure out how to make some cool 3D stuff. 2 minutes? Go. All right, so this method is actually really easy. To get this started, let's make a new composition. Hit that new composition button. Call this tutorial. Doesn't matter. 1920 by 1080. 24 frames, 10 seconds. Click OK. And to make a standard After Effects 3D scene, we will make some text. So we'll just, I don't know, coffee. Coffee is delicious. Font doesn't matter. Let's make a new camera. Control-Alt-Shift-C on your keyboard to make a new camera. Camera settings aren't that big of a deal. Let's set this to like, I don't know, 50 millimeters, fine. And we'll go to Layer, New, and Layer, Camera, create an orbit null. So now this camera is connected to that null, and then we can hit this coffee layer and hit the 3D button. And if we change the rotation of this coffee layer, we got some 3D perspective happening. But what if we wanted to add some extrusion? Well, that is where the renderer comes in, the Cinema 4D renderer. That is a program that specializes in 3D. So we'll hit composition settings, or Control-K, 3D renderer, and with classic 3D, you're using all the beautiful features of After Effects. But if we switch this to Cinema 4D, we'll see some enabled and disabled features. So it's a little bit of a bummer. We don't get to use effects and such on continuously rasterized layers, text layers and shape layers, collapsed 3D compositions, etc. But we got to do some cool things like extrusion, which is really what we want. So click OK. And then what we will do is we'll select that text layer, we'll hit AA, and we'll see these geometry options, which you do not have access to in the classic After Effects renderer. We can change that extrusion depth, which is really what we want. So we'll set that to 100. We'll set that bevel style to angular, doesn't matter. And we're getting somewhere, but this looks like butt. How do we make this 3D look 3D and actually maybe like real life or something like that? Well, let's select that camera orbit null first, and we'll just reset everything. Let's scale this text up to like that. And we can see now it doesn't look good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some lights, like a 3D real life scene. Control-Alt-Shift-L. We'll call this key. Doesn't matter what the name is, but this just helps me stay organized. We'll click OK. And now we got something. We're getting somewhere. With this light, we're lighting that 3D, and the 3D text is interacting with that light in a way to create some depth and dimension. So right now I'm moving this light to the right in 3D space. Let's bring this up. Bring this up just a little bit. And we're getting somewhere, but it still feels flat. How are we gonna do more dimension things? Well, we can duplicate that light, and let's bring this behind this 3D text layer now. So let's just set that Z position to say 300. Now it's gonna be behind. Let's move this to the left side now. And even just moving this light, we can see how the 3D text is interacting with that light. And you can animate these lights if you wanted to, like start here. Let's just hit P on that keyboard and then move forward 1 second and just bring that over there. If we play that back if my computer will stop blocking up on me. There we go. And that's pretty cool. Now, obviously this is extremely basic. We can add so many layers to this. I'm gonna show you one more thing. We're gonna add a floor. To do that, we're gonna hit Control Y, composition, or solid settings rather, we'll call this floor. Make it pretty big so that you can have some space to work with. Click OK. Right now it's not 3D. Click that 3D button. Bring it below everything just to stay organized. I like to put the floor on the bottom. And already this looks kind of cool. We'll hit R, not P, and we'll set that X rotation to -90. We'll bring this down just a little bit. And now we got this cool looking 3D floor. Let's bring the scale of that up just a little bit. So it interacts with the lights a little bit more. We get some more fall off there, and it's more of a seamless end to that. And let's bring this, maybe this light down. The back light below. And you get that cool little background light right there. Maybe bring it, this keyframe, a little bit closer, and then maybe bring it closer in Z space. So if you want to see what you're doing from a different perspective, what you could do is change your active camera to custom view. And now we're looking at our camera from like our scene from a bird's eye view, and we can hit C and change our view of how we're looking at this. And once it renders, we can see that that light is just barely behind. Let me just bring it there. And we can move around these lights if we need to. Hit escape to go back to our original active camera. Just click here, active camera. And last thing I want to show you is not hitting my start button. Instead, we're going to make a reflection, because that is always classic in 3D scenes. So we'll hit AA. We'll see more 3D options for our floor. We'll see reflection intensity. Set that to say 15%. Nothing too crazy. And now we got a reflection, and that's pretty cool. And then we can change the sharpness, maybe like 80%. And then we can change any of these properties to get a different look, like the specular intensity will interact with those lights. So if we set that to 0, the light is gonna be less harsh on it, and we got that cool reflection. Last thing I want to show you is if we change the position or the orientation of that orbit null of that camera, we can get some cool looks. So if we go to frame 0, hit a keyframe on that orientation, and let's just change this a little bit. So maybe go this way and this way and this way. Kind of just hitting buttons randomly. Just make sure that you're not going under your floor. And then if we go forward to, let's say, like 2 seconds, we can change those numbers to like something else. Oh, that's a little nuts. All right, reset that. Oh, don't want to play with the Z. Let's go the opposite way. Get that cool under-looking shot. And then if we select those orientation keyframes, hit F9, and then let's just set this to quarter so you can see this a little bit faster. And you got a cool 3D scene. Now obviously this is very basic. What I showed you earlier in the video is a little bit more advanced. I had more TLC time, but you get the idea. What you can do with the Cinema 4D renderer is actually have true 3D in After Effects, and you can go crazy with this effect. I wanted to show you that this feature of After Effects is there if you ever need to do something like this, and you can even animate this text if you want to. So you could go to your coffee, let's add a text animator, let's just say tracking, and then we'll set this to say 40. Go to that range selector, go to advanced, ramp up, no, not ramp down, ramp up, 65, 65, and then set that negative offset to negative 100%, and then go forward, and then set this to 100%, and what you're gonna get is something that you might see in a movie trailer, that the text all coming together and the camera moving around. You get the idea. You can go ham with this. You can use most of your animation techniques in After Effects and get some cool looking 3D text. So I hope this tutorial, this technique is helpful to you. If you ever need some guidance on how to get this effect, let me know. I'll make sure your Cinema 4D renderer is on. Anyways, that's it. If you can't tell, I'm congested and I feel a little gross, so I'm gonna go take a nap. But I appreciate you watching this video, and if you learned something, let me know in the comment section down below. If you appreciated this tutorial, hit that like button or subscribe button or whatever else. My name is John Jags. I appreciate you watching my tutorials, and I will see you beautiful people in that next video. Bye. Just kidding. We got 2 new subscribers that I forgot to do the shout outs. So, Nick Gisburn and Final Nero. Thank you so much for clicking that red button below. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining the party. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I will talk to you next time. Now, bye. 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 Roll that music.